So what we can do is we can start. This is our 4-season foraging talk, or mine, and Beth's here at the chat to answer some questions, what she knows, and she's did a lot of looking things up. And the rest we're going to talk about, like right now we're in the middle of summer. So if a lot of you missed the session, want to understand, you can watch it later this evening, or if you have all access ticket or a VIP, you can watch it when they release those. So our first season we're going to talk about is summer. It's like we have 3 people now. Everybody can say hi to Beth over there in the chat if you want to, and she's going to try to relay if I have a question or try to answer. Can't really see, but I made these cute little boards. See the tree in the sun. To try to go over what you can learn to forage. Hi, Jessica. What you can learn to forage for yourself. So in the summer, we're in the summer right now. So out in my yard, a lot of things have died. We're in the middle of a drought. We haven't had rain in a long time. But normally we would have blackberry and raspberry leaves out there. And for summertime, they're nice and green. And I go around, I have a lot. I go around and clip off the leaves, usually the larger leaves, and then sometimes the new growth, because the crabs really like the new growth. So the raspberry leaves, and then in my patch is also some wild roses. So they also in the summer you can clip those. Then I dehydrate those in my dehydrator. You can air dry them, but you can and in the sun. The sun's really hot. They are green, but I mean, the heat from the sun is pretty intense right now, and in the dehydrator. So that would be like you were cooking them because it's going to be really hot. Another thing, normally in the summer, you still have some wild flowers like Johnny Jump Ups. You have dandelion. Not right now, we don't. Roses. Roses are beautiful. And in the summer, you can use the leaves, not the stems, the leaves, and any color roses. Now, you want to make sure you're not putting any insecticides or anything like that on any plant you're going to feed to your crabs. Now, for the roses, you can air dry, feed fresh. Same with the leaves of the blackberry, raspberry, and the leaves of the roses, or you can dehydrate them all. I do that, then I don't have to worry about any insects. I'm going to refer to my summer list. So, moss and lichens, if it's really dry, the moss is not going to be lush and green. So, if you find moss and or lichen, you remove it carefully with like a child's rake or something that's not in it. You don't dig deep. It just comes right up. Then you may have to mist it. Only take something sustainable. Don't take everything there. And when you bring that moss or lichen in, you will have to rinse it lightly. Don't go crazy. Remove any large clumps of dirt, any debris, any mushrooms, anything like that you find in it. Pine needles. Lichens is really difficult, but get out as many as you can. And then in a regular climate, like in the East here in the United States, you could freeze that moss at least 48 hours, but you can do up to 72 or even longer. I wouldn't do more than 3 months without sunlight because it is a plant and you're trying to keep it alive. If you live in a really cold climate, like Alaska, Canada, somewhere like that, you're going to have insects that can survive freezing for months. So on top of that, you can boil water, put the moss or lichen into a colander, or dip it into previously boiled but not boiling water. And that will kill off insects and eggs. And so far, I have not killed lichens or moss doing that. You do not want to boil the live plant. You will cook it. So, and don't trap it in a pan with the heat. You're not boiling eggs. You're just killing bugs. Um, and we covered some flowers. Now, I plant my own flowers from seeds. You can grow petunias, impatiens, any crab safe flower you can grow. If you buy it from a nursery, you have to ask how that was raised, how that was grown. If you want to use one that you don't know, you will have to transplant it a couple times into pots, water it for a month or so. Don't use those first blooms that are already on it. And then you can use the flowers. Of course, we talked about wildflowers, the Johnny Jump Ups, the dandelions. Uh, some people have perennials that come up every year in the summer. Daylilies, uh, gladiolus, any flower that comes up on its own every year, and even some sages, just the flowers. Um, if you find it in the safe feeding guide, then under plants, then you need to look and you say, well, I think I have this. Well, then look it up online. Make sure, a couple resources that it is what you think it is before you offer it. Then you can either dehydrate it. You can freeze. It makes, they thought they get mushy. Um, you can feed fresh. Really, really rinse it off good with fresh water. Try to get any insects off. I prefer dehydrating them. And as far as plants go, it's gardening time. Same thing with seeds and nursery potted plants. If you're going to grow squash, cucumbers, corn, corn that you buy out is a lot of insecticide. I mean, a lot. Don't feed the silk or the husk from that. But you can from corn you grow from seed. Um, Cantaloupes, pumpkins, anything that you can grow that is crab safe. Fruit trees. Most fruit trees, pears, the wood and the bark. I don't remove bark or wood from a live tree, but fallen branches from storms are fine on the pear tree. Blossom or in summer, so it's summer, so the fruit's already on the tree. Don't feed the seeds, but the wash and feed. You can feed the fruits of cherries. Of course, pears are safe. Cherries, apples, uh, nectarines, peaches, summer fruits, the stone fruits. Now, another thing, and I don't know if I covered yet on summertime, is you have a lot of storms. So you're going to find fallen branches and maybe even bark or lichen, shield lichen from the branches. Those are all safe from safe trees, which again, you will have to look that up. Um, that comes from anything off the tree. Leaves, if the leaves have fallen but they're still green, you can dehydrate them, but with heat, and then offer them to the crabs. I don't know. They don't really like the green as well, except for the blackberry, raspberry, the burning bushes. Then you have your different shrubs that grow. People have burning bush, lilac leaves, grape leaves. All the wood from those can be used. Now, people laugh at this, but deer. Summertime, you won't find as much deer or rabbit poop. But you will find some in the grassy areas, and you can dehydrate that or dry that in the sun. You can add crab safe salt if you want to prevent any mold while you're drying. And the crabs like both the salt and the deer and rabbit poo. That's outside foraging, what you can find in the summer. And I'm sure I missed some things. I'm looking over here. You can't see me, Susan? I'm right here. Can everybody else see me? Okay, trying to. I can't read them. They're going so fast. I have to look over them later. So that was summer. Beth wanted to start with summer. And she's over there if you need help. Um, so summer, let's do fall. We'll do fall. Okay. Can't read it. I have to read it to you. Also, true moss and true lichen, you will find those in the fall. And if we've gotten more rain, they will be more lush. Leaves. When leaves fall from the safe trees, sometimes you get to really large ones. And I've been able to sell as placemats. Those are sycamore leaves, are just really huge. And some oak leaves. If you need help IDing them, you can go to my Because of Crabs group and I can help you. Or you can use the apps. If you look on my CrabCon talk from last year, it gives a list of apps you can use. The fallen leaves, my leaves get trapped in the raspberry vines, so I can get the leaves pretty much every season. Dry grass. If you ever have a place where you mow, but you can't get up like against the berry vines or around a safe area, you just can't get in there to mow, I leave that grass grow, sometimes as tall as me. I found out that if I cut it and cut it up, the hermit crabs love it. That is where I get my crabby grass that I sell. And you can have the cat grasses, bent grass, grasses that come from the food it comes from. So oats, barley, rye. Crabs can have all of those. Let's see, I'm trying to read over there. So that was grapevine. If you have wild grapevine, the leaves are good, the wood. You can make things for your crabs with the curly grapevine, so it's excellent. Fall, you'll see a lot more of it. As it dries, what has died, you can pull that down and make things with that. You might have to soak it in crab safe water, like with your prime, and soak it so you can bend it. Then some of the bushes, like the lilac bushes, the blackberry bushes, the burning bushes, their leaves change colors also in the fall. The berry bushes get a real silver tint to them. And then, of course, the burning bushes get that really beautiful orange. The crabs prefer them more to the other. And there's less dehydrating because you're starting out with a leaf that's not bright green. So that was fall. So we did summer. I guess we're going to winter since we're going in that direction. Now you'd think in winter time there's not a lot to go out and forage. And I'll tell you what, I feel like I'm going to freeze to death when I'm out there on a hillside on our property. We have about 150 acres. That's why my moss is not in any danger or lichens. I mean, it's everywhere. So in the winter time, the best time, if it's not frozen to the ground, to get moss and lichens is when it's 40 degrees or even up to freezing, like 36 to 45 degrees. You're going to have way less insects if you pick up branches, moss, and lichen. And if it snows, the moss and lichen just come out so lush. And the ants are already down. They're not in it. Spiders aren't in it. Little toads and frogs I sometimes see, little lizards, they're not in there. So you're using your tool. You're not, and your snakes aren't out, so you're not in danger. But I have, the biggest snake I think is what they call hog snake here, and the black racer snake. It's a long, thin snake, and they don't get happy with me. But they've never attacked me. Frog has. So I gather those into large shopping reusable bags with handles, because I don't take any plastic into the woods. I don't leave anything out there that I don't take with me. I take it back out. So lots of moss and lichens. The fallen branches and bark, even better. You don't have the ants in the bark. And when you pick up a beautiful branch or a unique wood piece you find in the woods, it's not infested with ants. Now, if it's quite large, they could be down in there. So you will, as it warms up, put it in a warm place, you will know pretty quickly if it has ants in it. It's the easiest time of the year to find the deer and rabbit poo, because if it snows, it freezes on top of the snow. If it's under there, it melts the snow. So, and like I said, you can dehydrate it. Yeah, I see, Mallory. Yeah, rattlesnakes. We have rattlesnakes and copperhead snakes. So I like to wear my sandals and Crocs all over the place, but I don't when I'm up in the woods because, well, clumsy, and I don't want to be up there because sometimes my family is down in our home in the home place, and I'm up on that mountaintop walking with no one. So I have my child rake and my couple bags. So I'm keep my eyes alert. We had talked about you will find more fallen acorns and nuts, like acorns, hickory nuts, not so much the walnuts, the black walnuts, because you have to go through a huge process to get through the black walnut. And this is in the wintertime. Um, so we move on to spring. You've been through all the seasons. You went through winter that felt like it was lasting forever. And now you decided, I want flowers. Where are the flowers? So I go out in the yard, and there are a lot of really early spring flowers, like violets, the flowers and the leaves. Dandelions are in abundance. Same. In fact, you could use the roots of those. There's chickweed. There's red dead nettle. The lilacs are coming green. And in April here, the lilacs, crabs love lilacs, fresh, dehydrated. There's a bush called quince that's bright orange. That whole entire bush is crab safe. Garcenthia, if I'm saying that correct, is the yellow one, the long sticks. It's safe. Crabs love it. So you have all those really early, and there's a couple I can't quite think of the name. They grow up and they look like they're in little knots. And a lot of what people call weeds are wildflowers. Some of them are real tiny, but I mean, you can pick up the whole little clump of bush. You're going to end up mowing them down anyway. And white clover, it'll start coming up, and I have trouble saying wood sorrel, so you can laugh at me. But all those are safe, and you can't dehydrate any of that. Okay, so I do not live, as Xander, I do not live in a natural habitat for hermit crabs. I live in the mountains or the hills of West Virginia. Okay, in the winter, it gets very cold here. It can be teens or colder for weeks on end. Summer, it's hot and humid. April through May, it doesn't stop raining some days, sometimes. But I do not live in a habitat where you would find a land hermit crab. So, but we know from experience they eat the food that are on the safe food list. They love bark. Want to understand sycamore and mosses and lichens grow in Indonesia and different countries. So does grape. So some things are found all over the world, just maybe a different type of wood, or it may be a different type of moss. But a true moss is safe. Yeah, the wild grape vines that have the little curlies and produce real grapes, those are safe. We have those here in West Virginia, but they have to be not just a wild vine. It has to be a grapevine. Um, a lot of people, you can read the comments on the side. A lot of people are having some good comments about it. And so we were saying about the grapes. If you actually get the grapes you can actually dehydrate those too, or feed them to them, wash them, feed them to them fresh. You can even do that with store-bought grapes. You really have to wash them. I don't know about the store-bought still has the grapevine on it. I don't know what the insecticide process would be and how much would be on there. Um, so the more early spring, when your blackberry and raspberry leaves are first coming out, they're very, very, very tender, and the crabs just love those. And they will have blossoms. So since I have acres of them that I don't use, I cut them off with the blossoms. That's early on, like April, May, And the blossoms, the crabs just love the blossoms. And then you got the cherry blossoms, the no, not the actual stems or the leaves. Cherry blossoms, apple blossoms, pear blossoms. Woody leaves are good on the pear. Um, Lilac. You're going to have the flowers first. You won't have the leaves right away, but that gives you some early flowers when you don't have any flowers to choose from. And the Japanese honeysuckle, it's very invasive here. If you take it up or take pieces up and you throw it off into the woods and don't eradicate it, you get more bushes. But they bloom early and they're tiny little flowers. You just want the flowers of the honeysuckle. And let's see, the early spring flowers. Of course, again, the rabbits and the deer have been down all winter. They're coming out. They're eating more. They're eating the small new grass. There's going to be more abundance, hopefully, of deer poo, rabbit poo. During our drought, there's not. And early bushes. I think I talked about that. The quince is an early bush. Lilacs are an early flower. Or dogwood. Dogwood. The whole entire dogwood tree is safe. And the dogwood flower. They really like that. And there's some other, like the pawpaw tree here in West Virginia, the blooms, the leaves, the fruit. I, I believe the whole thing's safe, but I don't have them in my yard. You would have to look that up. And mulberries, yeah, mulberry trees. I don't have one now, but the fruit is safe. When you pull the mulberries around here, a lot of worms, so you want to like dip them in warm water or whatever and really look for that. Um, so we did spring. Trying to think of what. Then I'll go over some of the things I sell in my shop in case I missed it. And like I said, in the spring, you still have the moss and lichens. And this is really going to be soft and fresh. I have fields of lichens on hillsides. Only thing is, where they grow, there was fires over 100 years ago, and the pine trees came up to replace the hardwood trees. So if you find lichens, you're finding a lot of pine needles. Pull out especially any fresh pine needles. But like Mary Akers has fed the baby crabs my lichens since I think she said one of the first foods they eat, and they haven't not had any issue. So in my crabs, I mean in Mary's crabs, we don't pull out every needle. I pull out the fresher needles, and I pull out as many. I mean there's hundreds that I can pull out. Lichens, if you find it, it can be standing and be lush and soft, or it can be looks dead, dried out. You take that and spray a little crab safe water on it, it springs right back up. Summer, I guarantee you, it's out there and it's crumbling. I mean, people tell you it doesn't come back. It's crumbling out in the woods. Moss is dying from the drought. So watch where you're harvesting from. Maybe give it some rain, time to rain. If you do have it, if you have it close to your home, you can water it. I can't go water the woods. Wish I could. All right, so I think we did all the seasons, and I'd like to talk about um, some other plants I sell. And I was reading over Susan has mimosa. And the tulip poplars, they are safe. I don't know about the flowers. They're beautiful. I didn't move in here because they say they're invasive, but they are very pretty. And the flowers are beautiful. I do harvest flowers this year. They don't bloom every year. This early spring, the black locust flowers only are safe. And they smell so great. Yeah, the acorns. If you get the acorns, you bring them in. I like to keep the acorn caps. I sell from the woods, and from the woods I put in feathers like from chickens and ducks, and I cut those up after they've been cleaned. Acorn caps, because the acorns themselves, you have to heat them up. You either have to heat them, boil them, or microwave them in a little water because they could have worms. Plus, they will mold. Then to feed them to a crab, you need to crack them. Hickory nuts, they're very difficult to break, but you can crack them and get the nuts out, nut meat out if you want to. I sell bark from hickory trees, sycamore trees, birch, elder, box elder, maples, several different kinds of maples and oaks. Barks, I have people that cut firewood and we cut firewood. And we cut oak trees and safe trees. So that's why I have an abundance of the safe barks. Um, yeah. Did you see what I said about the acorns? Freezing will kill the worms, but it won't stop the mold. I bake them, and you can grind them. I don't have a processor right now that will grind them, but my crabs love the acorn caps. Oh, now I didn't talk about mushrooms. If you are an avid mushroom hunter or know someone it is, crabs can have mushrooms that are safe for us to eat. But if you don't, just don't go out there and pick a wild mushroom and eat it, touch it. Don't even touch it. I touched one, it's a pepper or something, and I had it in my eyes, and it's not even, you can cook it and eat it, but I'm not going to. Um, but some mushrooms if it's wet, early spring and late fall, you can find some safe mushrooms. And I do harvest those when I find them. This year it's been dry. I haven't had as many, but I do have requests for those. I think right now do have some turkey tail mushroom, which is safe. You can look that up. That's usually on bark, and you can looks like it's got the going down like turkey feathers. You can pull those off. Just stick them in the microwave. Thousands of acorns. Yeah, the mushrooms. I tell you, I forget what I found one. Oh, I was walking through camp only about a month and a half ago, and I saw a stump, and it had these huge, beautiful. Is it not hemp in the woods? The other one, chicken. And I'm running over there. Oh, it's a mushroom! And I cut it up, cooked it, and put it in the freezer. I love those. That's probably going to be for me. Yeah, mock meat. The mushrooms are good. Trying to see through the questions over here. Let's see. Acorns, about freezing. Guys are doing good at helping with the questions. Thank you. Thanks, Beth. Thanks, Jessica. What is this? You know, it's the beauty berries, French mulberry. I don't know what it's called. We have a large mulberry tree here. Now, if you go into my Because of Crabs group and make a post, I'll try to get in there the next 3 or 4 days after CrabCon, or send me a message on my Etsy, or make a post in the Kirby Hermit or the Land Hermit Crab Owner and ask. I'm sure somebody will know if I don't get to it. Um, French mulberry. And we're looking into that. I know regular mulberry here, they can have the very young leaves, is what I have heard. And it's a debate on the wood. You can try the database of the Crab Street Journal and see what exactly says. There's another really beautiful tree. Is it South Carolina has it? Has the big flowers. My brother has one. Magnolia. So magnolia tree. The flowers I know are safe. People do use those. Anybody? I'm looking over here to see if there's any questions. Oh, okay. Fruit only on the mulberry tree. Okay. If you, in the fall, I don't think I did fall. Or did I? I said fall, you can have the leaves, right? The dry grasses. Don't forget your fall vegetables. Hermit crabs love pumpkin. Just wash it really good if you bought it. And then you can cut it up, you can cook it, you can feed it raw, you can decorate it for the Hermit Crab contest on Land Hermit Crab Owners Society in the fall. Big contest. You can win a prize for your crabs or for you. But you can also feed it to the hermit crabs. Even those little pumpkin gourds and any fall squash. And hermit crabs will eat, like if you have at the end of the season you have tomatoes. Mine prefer overripe tomatoes. They love peppers from the garden. And see, those are things that you're still getting off in the fall. Magnolia pods, yes. Hermit crabs like those. There she is. There's Stacy May. American beautyberry, French mulberry. The berries are fine. Okay. I use Stacy May's book all of the time. I think Beth has one. Jessica has one. If someone wants to put a link up, Stacey, if you want to put a link up to that, to your book or to your page, that's fine, because I tell you, that thing is wonderful. It's been such a help to hermit crab owners all over the place. It just is great. Magnolia leaves. Anybody know for sure? I'm not remembering. Okay, leaves are fine. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying to look and see if anybody has any questions. Stacey May's book. It is the Hungry Hermit. I know it, but I am got my mind on other things. I'm trying to reach over here. I usually have it right next to me to show you. I'm looking through my drawer. Okay, here's the small one. It is fresh and foraged food for land hermit crabs. And this is the pocket guide you can carry with you. This is the one that goes out in the woods with me. But there's a large white hardback that I keep by my desk. I'm trying to see what I happen to do with it. Any other time it would be right here. Beth, can you put a link up to that? Or did somebody already do it? Yeah. Put a link up for that. Stacey May is a vendor for the CrabCon. She has a booth. Go into her booth and you can get the link that way. And you really need that book. Oh, good. Thank you, guys. Yes, that book is the Hermit Crab Keeper's Bible. I don't read any other book except the Bible, maybe as much. Okay, Stacey, I'm sorry, but I really do. I mean, I really, really do. And I almost brought my mug you gave me, but I didn't. All right, so, all right, or stop that. I'll be me now. So, I am Jeannie. Most of you know that. I MOD for the Land Hermit Crab Owners Society, and I administrate we have a swap page. So let's say you can get things, you can see other buyers, sellers on there. Hi, Hunter. And if you can't forage and you do see something on that page, just make sure if they're not an approved seller, anything you get, you're cleaning, okay? And you're following recommendations on the Crab Street Journal to do so. Also, I co-own with several other nice ladies that are over there on the right, the Crabby Hermit, and we follow Crab Street Journal guidelines also. Let's see, we've been on, I don't know how much time we have left, if we have a limit. Is any other questions? Anything, a plant you have in your yard? Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. Okay. Any plants you have in your yard? One thing that I've always wondered, and I've seen, yes, they're safe in some groups, and no, they're not safe. And I'm going to say it, in West Virginia, we don't call it the right name. We call them pineys. Some people's peonies, right? Everybody know what I'm talking about? The great big lush pink and white flowers you see in the spring? I've seen yes, they are, and I've seen no, they're not. So if anybody has more input on that, or if they've ever looked that up on the feeding guide, I have. And it's very, to me, it's still iffy, and I don't do iffy. Okay, say crab apple. Where we at? It's reading over here. Aha. I'm glad you're having fun, Beth. Crab apple trees in Canada. Yeah, wild apple trees. Use the fruit is what I use of wild apples. That's iffy an argument too with the wood. But I feed the fruit and I do just the flower part of the blossoms. Yeah, they're apples that are edible for humans. Yes. No seeds. That's right. No stem. Crab apple plates. Never had that. Tomato, maybe. All right. So I'm still looking for some questions and so we can answer. Oh, the bark in the wood. I do not feed apple bark or wood, but some, it's in between. Some people say yes, it's fine. I don't need. I have so much other bark. I'm not taking any chances with something that may not be safe. You're very welcome. Maple leaves, absolutely. They love gold maple. Yellow, we call it yellow maple here. Maple leaves and sycamore. If you're in the East Coast or even in Canada, lots of sycamore. Like I said, they love that. And the maple and the sycamore, anything on the tree. Where's Beth? Where's your motto, Beth? Tiger eye sumac. Well, I know brown-eyed Susans are not safe. Not. I don't remember if someone can look that up on the sumac. I know some sumac here is not. We have poisonous sumac here too. Well, we went away from saying the pine is toxic. Okay. Um, Mary's had some pine she's fed to her crowds from the beginning. And maybe it's because they've always had it, but we moved it to the at your own risk and not say that, oh, it's toxic. Because, I mean, we cannot prove that, but you can look on the food guide and get the data and look at that a little better. I mean, each search will show you the height of the danger of feeding it down to, oh, it may or may not be. And then you have to make that decision yourself. Yay, I'm getting that book. Yay. Pine cones. That's debatable. It would have to be very, very dry before I would feed the pine cone before I'd attempt. I don't put pine sap in my tank. Um, I don't know if the smell. Mary, like I said, I don't know. Some people may say a pine cone is safe. I know some non-approved sellers have sold that or tried. I don't know if the crabs like them. I personally don't feed them yet. It's at your own risk. Yes. When the book was made and everything was delved into, we didn't go, oh, this might be a little bit, this might be a lot, this might be this. It stated, that is, it's a book, and it's very good book. And you can go if you want, search that on the database. But Land Hermit Crab Owner Society right now, that went to the not safe list. Some things, just that and dried lavender, have went to the use your at your own risk recently. That doesn't say they're safe. Okay, so Sumac says caution, toxic principles. That I don't say it right. Is in a couple other things. Is that okay? Because your uracil, that's what's in poison ivy and poison oak, correct? I wouldn't touch that. And we have poison sumac. I'm not touching that. I gave up my garden out there on one side because I can't get the poison ivy to stop. All right, everybody. If you have any questions, hit me up on. I'm in Kirby Hermit, Land Hermit Crab Owner Society. I have my own Because of Crabs Facebook page and at my Etsy. Thank you for everyone from the bottom of my heart that has ordered now in the past, will order in the future. You have your CrabCon codes. Please be careful. They're saying that if you're a return customer, some people are getting that 10% return customer. Thank you. You need to remove that and put in your CrabCon code. Now, I added, to make up for that mess, a 15% off store-wide that will automatically be there. And then you can add your coupon to it and save even more. Well, you guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy CrabCon. Thank you for everything. Bye.